Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. So if you didn't watch part 1 of Mailada versus Rode, this is going to be part 2 of Mailada versus Rode, where we're going to talk about ergonomics and design. So in our last video, we talked about the sound of each wireless lavalier mic between the Mailada WM10 and the RodeLink. This time, we're going to talk about the design and ergonomics, okay? So to start off the bat, you can see between the two, the Mailada is much smaller and is also much thinner of a body. So this is, with the Mailadas, it's much easier to hide this on a person than it would be to hide the RodeLink on a person. That's one advantage to the Mailada. Another thing is going to be the levels. You can set the levels right on the transmitter. With the RodeLink, you have to open up the back battery pack, and then you're able to select your decibel reading. I think this one's set a little bit too high. Also on the Rode, you have a link control here. So let me do a little adjustment on the Rode and bring the levels back up, because I turned the levels to plus 10 dB. That's plus 10 decibels. That's a little bit better there. Now we're a little bit more in line with each other. But having to open up the back and the battery pack can be a hassle, especially when it's attached to somebody, versus just doing it on the transmitter. Now this doesn't have a plus decimal reading, it just has a volume level reading on the Mailada. That can be a downside. Another thing is these link automatically together, versus the Rode, they will link automatically together, but they also have a link button in the back there, which also requires you to open the door. Now, positive on this is they both have a USB, micro USB, to be able to power these packs if you needed to. Also probably does some software updates too. Okay. The other thing is on the transmitters here, they're also the same size. Like between the two Mailadas, they are definitely the same shape and size. The Rodes are too, so that also means it's bigger and bulkier. So when you have to attach this to your camera, it also means it's going to be heavier, bigger, and bulkier. This also has your level adjustment, your 0 plus decibels, plus 10 decibels, and plus 20 decibels, and a link. Let me change that. Again, having to slide this up and down is miserable, okay? Another cool thing, and we talked about the price difference being $399 for these and $225, I believe, for the Mailadas. With the Mailadas WN10, you're going to get 2 transmitters and 1 receiver and have the capability of mixing. You can also buy more of these packs if you want to put them on separate channels, or you can record left and right channel and then, you know, just stereo it in your editing room. Also, I don't see an option on the RodeLink that has a low pass filter, which could be a downside. Sometimes you need that extra low pass filter. We'll go ahead and turn that on. That gives us a little more low pass filter there. This is going to come in handy in certain noisy situations or windy situations outside where you may need it. The RodeLinks do not have it. The Mailada WM10 does. So another big plus with the Mailadas is you get a headphone input jack right here. So you're able to monitor your receiver without having to go through your camera, so you can see the audio that's coming right out of the receiver there. The Rodes do not have that function, so you either have to monitor through your recorder or through your camera. So with that, you can check your receiver and make sure you're getting good audio from your receiver and your transmitter versus getting good audio through your camera. Sometimes your camera may not be picking up the inputs as well as you would like. So you'd be able to check the function of that here. You would not be able to check the function of that here. They both have mute functions on them, which is beautiful. So on this one, the mute is going to be on the transmitter here, just by simply hitting the power button, and now we're muted. And the other option on the Rode is going to be on the receiver. You're going to have to mute there. Now we're muted on the receiver here. I can mute one of the transmitters and leave the other transmitter recording. Maybe you're doing an interview or something like that and you don't need the interviewee anymore. So you can mute their pack very easily with the touch of a button. There we are, we're muted, and the interviewee can continue speaking. So when I'm doing videos and sound tests like this, it's very cool that I'm able to just automatically mute from here anytime I want instead of going into the editing room and doing it there, which I often do anyways. And one of the great things, though, about the RodeLink is you can buy the adapter for the XLR input for your microphone, your shotgun microphone, your NTG2s, your NTG3s, your NTGs4, and they will connect together. The downside on these guys is there's no phantom power to be able to power those microphones, so you'd have to have a battery powered microphone in order to do that. But you can attach one of these to a battery powered XLR, and then you'll be able to have dual recording with this. Another thing that I don't see on the Rodes, and maybe there's something more in the paperwork, but this automatically has a stereo and a mix here. So you're able to switch. If you just want to use one transmitter, you use the stereo. If you want to use two transmitters, record two different people, or a boom mic and the lavalier mic, then you would switch it to mix, and then it would record those two channels. That's going to be a mono channel that you'll have to change later in your editing software, but fully capable of, converting mono to stereo very easily. There's nothing to that. Another big difference between these two is the build quality. So the Rodes are built very solid. They're very well built, but they are a hard plastic. Every bit of this is just plastic. I'm not going to drop this to see if it will survive a fall, but I can tell you that this is all plastic. The Mailadas are a full metal design. Doesn't mean that it's not going to break if you drop it, but if I was going to drop the two of them, I would probably feel better about dropping the Mailada, especially for the price of the Mailada. So I'm going to cut in here and just talk about a few things that I've learned about the Rode kit. Number one, you're only going to get one transmitter, one receiver. Okay. If you want to buy another pack, you've got to get another transmitter and receiver. That's $400, that's $800, that's $1,200. You can keep buying. If you need a shotgun mic and two transmitters, you're going to pay at least $800 to $1,200. Well, 3 kits for 2 people recording and a boom mic. That's 3 kits at like $400. So with the Mailada, like I said, you get the 2 transmitters and the 1 receiver. So, and then if you want to buy a second kit, that's $500 for 2 kits. Then you get 4 transmitters and 2 receivers. And then they also have the WM12 kit that I can put up here, and you can check that out, which has 1 receiver and 4 transmitters. That's a lot to talk about. Okay, and the next thing I want to do, I think this is the test that everybody wants to see sometimes, is distance. How far can I go with these packs? And I think it's a good place to do that in the studio. Okay, so I have multi-leveled studio. Upstairs is the office, and downstairs here in the basement is the studio part of it. So I think a great test is to take these packs and go upstairs and see how well they do through concrete walls. Okay, being outside, that's one thing. You'll probably get more distance being outside, but I think a good test is being inside, where you're shooting interior location and you can't be right next to the camera. So let's continue with that test, and that will be the final word in this video. Okay, here we go. Putting on my transmitters. And now away we go. We're going to test the full capability of this to see if it does pick me up while still walking. And here we go, out the door. Hear the echo up the stairs. And checking to see if we're still getting audio. I have no idea if you can hear me or not, because I'm not monitoring it. And I continue, and I'm upstairs now. We can even continue and go outside and see when we start to lose any audio. I imagine by now, outside, that we've completely lost all audio. We'll never know until we get back to the editing room and check that out. And here I come back inside. Shutting the door and walking around, still upstairs. And now heading back downstairs, and we'll see the distance once we get back into the editing and see what picked up and what did not. So here we go, back downstairs in the echoey room. You can hear that. And here we are back in the studio. Probably has great audio at this point, and that's gonna be our range test. So, now that I'm out of breath, we're gonna see which one lasted the longest and which one did not. And that's gonna be it for our video. Check out our other videos. We got more audio tests, more camera stuff, and more lighting stuff coming up. So, as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And remember to keep shooting.